Hello, Rebecca, 49, and I have young onset Alzheimer's, which I'm so happy about. Welcome to all the new followers. Yay! I mean, my last page, I had so many followers, maybe too many. But I'm really glad that I found the people that were on my other page. They found me now, and so that's exciting. So some of this stuff I'll probably have said in my other, whatever you call it, that other thing, an account. You will notice that I have increased my inability to speak since my old account. So it's just one of my new talents, you know? Anyways, I did touch briefly yesterday on the MAID process, and I'm just going to talk about that because there seem to be a lot of questions, especially in terms of like people with dementia and like capacity and stuff. And so I think there's a lot of misinformation in terms of if people with dementia can actually access MAID after they've lost their capacity to say yes or no at the time. Now, how I came about my MAID provider was very strange. I was actually in having surgery, and I had just been diagnosed, and I have lots of friends that are nurses and doctors, and so a dear old friend of mine knew that I would want MAID. But I was having a totally separate surgery, and my friend walked in and she's like, I hope this is okay, but I just thought I would introduce you to our MAID provider. And so he just came in and sat down, and it was actually the coolest experience because he sat at the end of the bed and we just talked about what's going on for me. And I ended up crying because I felt so comfortable with him. And I don't feel comfortable with men ever. Like ever, okay? Never, ever, ever. I don't have, well, that's not true. I do have a bunch of male friends. They're just older or gay. I don't know. Anyways, I would have probably never chosen a male provider, but this man, there was like a little soul connection there. And we hit it off right away, and he just said, yep. Like, even just in the conversation, yeah, you totally qualify. So obviously you have to go through the red tape. So when you have dementia, obviously, there's a period of time where you are, cognitively aware. And then there's a time when that goes away. And so in Canada, there's a 2-tier system. And the 2-tier system is dedicated for people with disabilities and people with Alzheimer's and dementia and like Parkinson's and stuff. So basically the tier 2 is the version of MAID where your death is not within the 6-month period. It's a life ending disease, but the disease is not, basically going to kill you within 6 months kind of thing. So I think it's absolutely wonderful that they've created this system because you can plan ahead. And so what that looks like for somebody with dementia is you have to have 2 assessments done. So I had my first assessment kind of in an odd way that day when I was having my surgery. He had already approved me at that point, basically. But legally, he had to meet with me again and go through all of my like neurologist notes and tests and all that stuff. And so he approved me. That was fine. And then I had to meet, not too long after, I had to meet with another provider who was educated in dementia and Alzheimer's. And she approved me right away. Basically, she approved me right away because he was actually the provider, the one that would actually do the procedure on me. And so she said it was basically just red tape because he had already approved me. But So essentially what his job so far has been is to ask me at what point do I think that life will feel like I'm suffering? At what point? And I think I mentioned it in my other video, just like if I'm not laughing, if I can't go out with my friends, if I'm like, oh, if I can't recognize my loved ones, then it's time to go. I think I will be accessing MAID like well before I lose capacity, but you never know how fast this disease goes because it's actually going faster for me than I thought. And so I've given him my non-negotiables, basically. So he knows that. And then I just met with him probably 3 or 4 months ago, and we signed what is called a waiver of consent. And so essentially when you sign a waiver of consent, that means that if you do lose your cognitive ability to say yes at the time that you have chosen, because you have to pick a date to do the procedure. And if you have lost capacity at that time and you've signed the waiver of consent, the doctor can still go ahead. He can still go ahead with the procedure, even if I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. What am I doing here? Where am I? All that kind of stuff. He can still go ahead and do it. I don't think he can if I say no. That would be a good question. I should ask him. I'll ask him that. But so anyway, so you have to have a date, because if you have a date and you say you don't want to make another date and then I lose capacity, they won't be able to do it. So you have to have a date, and then you have to, at that date, if you're not ready, you pick another date, and so on and so forth. But if you refuse to pick another date, they cannot do it if you've lost capacity. So, and I know that my tolerance for suffering is low. I've suffered enough on this planet, and I'm sure a lot of women out there know exactly what I'm talking about. It's been a real hard life, okay? And I've suffered enough, and there's just no way I'm going to suffer here alone when I could just access this beautiful thing. I did say in my other video, or in my other account, that I worked in healthcare for 20 years. And so I used to do a lot of hospice care, which was actually my favorite. I did work in hospice for a little bit. And there's something extremely beautiful about being present for one's passing, and also for the weeks leading up to passing. And I was with a lot of family and patients that died naturally, and that can take a long time. But I did have one patient that was a MAID patient, and shared it in my other video, in my other account, but I'm going to share it again because I love the story. It was this woman. I was taking a patient out, discharging them, and I was wheeling them down through the lobby, and in came this beautiful woman, probably 50, long red hair, red lipstick. And for some reason, I noticed her, and it stuck out, she was stunning. I don't know why I noticed her. And then I went back up to my unit, and then about 20 minutes later, I got a call from the head nurse to go in and do post-mortem care, which is basically the care that you provide after somebody passes. And it was the same woman, and she was wearing the same clothes. She just looked like she was sleeping. She had her legs crossed, her arms crossed. She was alone. So she had obviously gone in alone, but I've taken care of so many people that have passed, and none that looked so peaceful after. It was amazing. It was, really stuck out to me, and gave me a bit of hope that would be the way to go. And so that's what I've chosen. There's a lot of other questions that people have asked, so I will answer them coming up.